Hello again. We are charting the higher octave with two of my guests this evening. I'm doing an evening interview, and everybody's in different time zones. I'm speaking with multi instrumentalist Ryan Policky of A Shoreline Dream, and his collaboration with the legendary frontman of Ride, Mr. Mark Gardner. Thank you. Such an honor
Hello.
to have you guys. Thank you for doing this interview. We have all like the different time zones, so this is the perfect time. It's almost like it's meant to happen, right? Just like your meeting and your
It's like
collaboration.
it's like this technology is rules the world, so we're able to do an interview all the way around the world all at the same time.
Yeah, I
I've
mean, I
I
guess I'd say I'd also guess the technology helps the collaboration as well, in a way, because we hadn't actually, or had we met before we started to make this music together?
we
Did
only
we
met
meet?
at the show. We met at the show and that was it.
But was that before? And that was before. That's right. That was before we got going, wasn't it? So one time that was it. Yeah,
There was a
yeah.
time a long time ago that we emailed, but I think I brought that up before and there's
I
just
wouldn't
too many
remember.
emails.
Too many
Way too
emails.
many. Yeah.
Well, it was definitely like meant to happen, right? That's why this collaboration is kind of magical, right? That's what you were saying. Yeah.
It's totally
Yeah.
magical.
And it
I
was even on your
mean,
birthday. Was it in your
yeah,
birthday? Yeah.
yeah. Since we both worked with the same publicist, Shauna,
Of
uh,
course.
she hooked us up, and it was just a match made in heaven. But we met
Yeah.
at his show here in Denver when they were playing it with the Charlatans, and it was an amazing show, and you know it happened.
Yeah. It did happen.
So, what was it like to work with Mark, Ryan? Just collaborating on this. I know you released a single that came out now, and the full
Yeah,
album is called Whitelined, which is coming out
right.
July 19th.
Yes.
Well, I can answer that a little bit because that's quite a tricky one to put Ryan on the spot for that. I mean, Ryan would not have had a clue what was going to happen until I got the tunes from Ryan, firstly, which was the start point, and quite a few. Ryan sent me quite a few different tunes and instrumentals that he was putting together, and then out of those. I mean, they're all great, but there was definitely like the two or three which I just suddenly latched onto. And obviously, the first one, which kind of really drove and led the way, was Everything Turns. And for me, that's kind of perfect because I like to live in the present. And obviously, I love being in Ride, but part of being in Ride is also tricky because we have a catalog. So we have to kind of live in the past sometimes as well as being present, which I
Mhm.
find tricky. So I actually love being in my studio, which I created a few years ago, which is the Optical Sound Place, and to be sent music all the time like this, and to be mastering, mixing. I mean, I'm really busy, but this was a real treat when music kind of comes to you like this, and it's an honor then to um, be tasked with trying to kind of turn, just sit and marry words with music, really, in a way that hopefully feels that they've always been there and they're always meant to be there. And that's a really lovely part of the work that I do, basically. And on to you, Ryan. Now, I hope that's helped you.
Yeah, no, I mean, to me, it was just such a unique experience and something, I didn't know what we were going to do initially at that show when we met. It was like, well, we could ask him to mix or do something of that sort. But when it came down to it, I was like, I'm just going to ask him if he would want to co-write some songs. Would he be up for creating vocals, creating new melodies, and doing this together? And he was so open to it. And sometimes you just got to ask people that you admire if they're interested, and sometimes you find out that they are. And that's what the magic is with me and Mark here is that we found a common ground.
Mhm.
That's why I gave him a whole bunch of songs. I was like, here's what we've been doing. This is what we've been recording. and he was like, I love these songs here, and it flowed. And what was nice about it is that we didn't have to go back and forth and have changes. We just did our part, passed it along. He did his part, and it just came back and forth until we were done with it. And it wasn't really, it just came together so organically that I don't know. It was pretty amazing. I mean, I've worked with some other really great artists like Ulrich Schnaus and Mark Kramer and engineers, but this was something so unique and so special just because it was a longer process, but it felt so much more rewarding in so many different ways because the songs just turned out amazing. So,
Yeah, I can't wait to hear the rest. Like, I only heard one, which is the first one that was released, which is Everything Turns. And
Yeah, it was, and yeah, apologies. It's a bit of a longer process, but it's a weird one because you can't. I mean, in the same way with the Ride record, in a way. I mean, we'd got kind of instrumental tunes together before the lyrics. We tried to sort of marry words and turn some of those into songs. And I don't know. It's nice. It's nice that I have a space. I don't. I'm not someone that can work systematically in the sense that you go in, right, today I'm going to make that song happen. It doesn't really work like that for me. But it's just nice to have created a space where I can have music playing and dip in and out and just let it sort of happen in a way. Almost when you're things kind of write themselves to a certain extent. And I don't know what that is, because all that process is, because sometimes the more you try to make things happen, they don't, and they just don't sound right. So some things can take a little longer, but in the end, when it works out, it doesn't really matter, because you've got these songs, they're going to be with you for life. So you just try and, yeah, I mean, and for me, I don't really, of course I care about what other things that I've done or whatever, but for me, I'm only as good as a thing that I've got in front of me at that point in time. I mean, I'm always reminded about stuff that I've done. So for me, I just take everything equally, and it's really important to me, everything, because like I say, I just think everything moves forward, really. If it's do things for tomorrow, not for yesterday.
yeah, because every single thing that you do is a representation of you now.
Yeah,
So you want to put your best foot forward, and you don't want to be pressured into doing anything. And I think that's what was great about this, is that we didn't have pressure. It wasn't like we have to get this done by a certain day and it needs to be a certain way and it needs to do this and needs to do that. It was just, let's see what happens.
you
Let's see
mean,
what we make out of these base level tracks. How are we going to make this into something that, represents what we both love to do?
yeah, and it's nice because nobody really knew about it other than Ryan, Shoreline Dream and myself, which is quite nice because there was that stops sort of external pressure or any kind of expectation around things, which again doesn't always help that sort of process, really. So I think the purity for me is just that reaction to music and the music and that sort of whole creative process itself. So the more that can be uh just not affected in any way by external stuff, the better, really.
Yeah. I think that's why I've always kind of stayed away from being on a label where I have to answer to somebody, because it's like, how can you put deadlines to this kind of stuff? I don't know. It's
that's true, right?
it's
Yeah,
You just let it flow, go with the
yeah,
flow.
and
just
also there are just deadlines and there's sort of expectations that that people have around you, in a way. I mean, and being part of a group as well, obviously there's an expectation and an internal chemistry in a way, which is good, but you place on each other without realizing that you're doing that, which does sort of, it kind of, that stuff can work, but sometimes as well it can be quite frustrating as well. So I don't know, it's nice for me. I always found a lot of freedom with collaborations that I've been involved with over the years, and that's kind of why I really like it, because yeah, it's I like that feeling. You know, it's that sort of free feeling that I can do anything with this. It's not, you know, it doesn't have to be a way to do this. It's just like, it's just a, hopefully just a pure reaction to music, basically.
So the album is called Whitelined. So tell us about that. Tell us what the meaning is. What's the album Whitelined?
Okay, so Whitelined is a play on words.
Mhm.
This album has kind of like this illusion vibe to it. Thus the artwork, what you'll see. There's there's different layers of reality of what's really going on. And I feel that a lot of people got stuck in this world of, you know, living in their technology for so long because of the pandemic and because of getting so used to just doing all their interactions in a way that was not really human, but still trying to be human at the same time. And now we're out of that phase and we're trying to cross back over to being more human again. And Whitelined and the white lies that people have been
Mhm.
giving each other and the way that people have been interacting through technology has turned people in a weird place. And that's what the general idea behind that word is, Whitelined, playing on the words of white lies, playing on the words of the illusion of what is really going on. And that's where it comes from.
See, that for me is really interesting because I didn't know that, and I purposely didn't ask you too much about what the meaning could be behind the record, but also, as you just said, that by complete surprise, um, in a way that is definitely what some of the lyric is about on Everything Turns, in the sense that technology seems to have taken over from, yeah, you know, just taken over. So and it's leaving people, yeah, in one way feeling very connected, but actually making people completely disconnected, because actually we're social creatures and we need that human interaction around us a lot more. So it's definitely, I mean, that's why we've survived, you know, without getting too too on about it. Um, to Life on Earth, David Attenborough, you know, but it's so that's interesting to hear that, because that's definitely, you know, the opening words, you know, I used to feel wanted, I used to feel this, you know, on Everything Turns, because it's just the fact that I feel a lot of people around me has struggled because technology has just taken their jobs and their work, and it's just taken over it in a lot of ways. And there's that line as well, the system listens, which is totally about, you know, the feeling that, you know, your phones and things that are listening to you and just giving you back what you want in a way. Or
Mhm.
I mean, you know, I love it as well, but it's definitely, we're in a different sort of phase, you know, with our evolution, you know, as sort of humans, how you know, how much people are just looking at their phones all the time. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah,
And they're losing
and
they're
it's gonna be
they're
more.
losing their yeah, sorry. They're losing their language. We're losing our ways of doing things. And I think during that time period of the pandemic, it really kind of
Mm.
melted away some of those normal interactions that we were so used to doing because we weren't doing them as much. And now that that's why when you wrote that, and it was like, oh my God, he's totally on the same line of exactly what this whole thing is about. But what I love about what you do is you bring in this level of optimism. I'm more of like this goth guy who's gonna sing all this sad stuff. So it was a great combination of the two worlds of bringing in like this idea where you can get through it,
Mm.
but it's
Yeah,
something we should be paying attention to.
yeah, and I mean that's the whole point in the end, that's what, yeah, everything turns in the end. You know, it's a reaction to something that's happened before, and I do like to think that, you know, I mean, I have to try and stop listening. I used to be a bit obsessed with news, and here I was starting to get, that was starting to make me feel dark, as well as the very dark, you know, as well as the whole pandemic and everything. So it's just reactions to what's gone before, and I like to feel that, because especially because we're in a time where we've got some really kind of quite idiotic and frightening sort of leaders, so-called leaders, I still feel that in the end, the general good of the common people comes through. It's just the leaders that mess things up. So I do in the end always feel optimism at the end of it, because we will react against this stuff collectively and socially to a better place. I would like to feel. Plus, I have a daughter who's 10, so yeah, I want to kind of be full of optimism for her as well.
So this album, I know there's 10 tracks. It's going to
Yeah.
be released on July 19
Right.
on Night Weeknight Records.
Latenight Weeknight Records, which this is a late night weeknight. I should have called it an earlier in the evening night weeknight records.
Weeknight, late night. Wow, this is really a late night interview for you, right?
It is. That's why I'm like, why did I call it late night weeknight? See, I set myself up for it.
Yeah, that's true. So, so there's three. Is that 3 tracks, which is co-produced by Ryan and Mark?
Yes. Yeah.
And so the lyrics, is that Mark's?
Yes, on those 3 tracks.
Yeah.
All right. So the other
music is Ryan. Music and vibe is Ryan, and I'm the lyric and top line man. So yeah, that's how it works.
So
and like I said earlier, I think for me it always generally works like that when I'm writing anywhere. I kind of always have. Well, actually, I do. I'm like a sort of magpie or a crow. Yeah, is it magpie that steals things? But yeah, so I do always. I'm always on the lookout for interesting lyrical ideas, I guess, just in general in life. Just try and keep my eyes and ears open. So I always take notes of things, because I just think actually that stuff's always all around you if you just got your eyes open and just take notes. So I get words together, but then it's then the reaction with the music, which is then that's the bit that then you kind of start turning instrumental music into songs. So that's kind of the challenge and what I love to do.
So I know that you have a studio now. I mean, you've had it for a while now. It's a beautiful studio.
Yes.
It's called Oxford OX4.
OX for sound, yeah, just OX for sound. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's that's where you are right now, right?
It's not. No, it's not. I'm actually at my home right now because it's 8 in the morning here. So I kind of it's a bit early to be in the studio, but I will be heading over there shortly. And I was in there till 1:30 last night. But yeah, so I've always had kind of home studio setups along the way, but this is my first that's kind of well, I sold a little house that I'd got in Oxford and bought years ago and put that money into, I kind of made myself homeless, basically just put that money into a lovely studio, because that's what I always wanted in my life, to have just a fantastic creative space for me to do my thing and for others to come and feel good in and as well. So that was the thinking behind it. It's highly illogical. But in its illogicality, it works well for me on a creative level. I love the space and I love being in there, and that's what I'm saying, that's a lot to do with that I feel that the work is good now, because I've got that zone where I can just be in and react to music, such as like what Ryan was sending me, and also we made the last Ride record in there largely as well. So
yeah, one of the one of the memorable ones is working with Robin Guthrie, right? In one of your Universal Roads.
Yeah, so that was another that was again a little similar with this. However, I went to Robin's house in France. He's got a lovely house in North France, and he's kind of just taken over the top half of the house and it's turned it into his studio, and it was great. Yeah, I love France. I lived in France for 4 years, and again that was similar in a way. I would just went, and he kind of was taking care of the music, and then I was just sitting listening to the music come together and thinking about lyrics and words and top lines and trying to turn this beautiful music into songs again. So that was exactly another collaboration
Yeah.
like this. And it's just a shame a lot of people don't really know about that album, because obviously it was released on Robin's label, which is small, and we didn't really do lots of press and promo on it, I guess. So I think it's got a little bit lost, but it's nice because it's always there and people keep discovering it. So thanks for mentioning it, because it's, yeah, I loved working with Robin, and obviously Cocteau Twins were huge inspiration, and for me, as a 18, 19-year-old, just discovering interest in music. And I think, in a way, people like Robin Guthrie and that sort of soundscape, he's a little bit of a godfather of the scene that maybe is kind of rightly or wrongly called shoegaze now, or whatever. I mean, he's definitely one of those guys, and I loved working with Robin. Great guy.
Yeah, like Robin, Dead Can Dance, and Cocteau Twins
Yeah,
are my biggest influences as well. So this is
yeah, I
like
love
it was.
Dead Can Dance too. And Robin hangs out with Brendan, thinking in France. So just think what a
Yeah.
great couple of people to be hanging out now. I love Dead Can Dance as well. I remember walking around Paris with Dead Can Dance in my on my Walkman, my ear, my personal Walkman thing, and just being taken to a place I'd never been in my life, and musically, and it was just, I still really have strong memories about that time. I was supposed to be on an art trip, and I just ended up sightseeing with Dead Can Dance. I kind of just cut off from the group, and it was a really strong little time for me, and it also helped me make decisions about what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, which was music. So it's hugely influential for me. Those Dead Can Dance records and Cocteau Twins.
Yeah,
What's
I
fun?
did.
What's
I did.
fun? Sorry, I
No,
was just gonna say what's funny is that A Shoreline Dream we did a video that's a tribute to a Dead Can Dance video. Yeah,
Ah,
it's for Dream Song, and this song we did Dream Song, and it's like it's shot by shot copying Frontier,
mm.
and
wow.
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I'm right. I have to also mention this point, as Ryan mentioned videos. The videos Ryan's put together just blow my mind. I mean, I've been doing some self filming of singing some of these songs, and within, like, with the last one, I was in Prague. It's been pretty full on my schedule of late, and within about an hour and a half of sending over the little bit of filming that I'd done, it was just like this incredible videos. How do you do that? That's just ridiculous. That's definitely an area that I'm not. I just would be there for two months probably trying to put something together, and it's just, I'm not. I don't know how you do that.
That's just my day job essentially. I always make music videos, and I was working for a
Okay,
video game company
No,
doing
wow.
motion
right.
graphics for
Oh, that's
Bungie.
right. Yeah.
So I've been like I just live video. Video and music are like so similar to me because they all have rhythm
Mm.
and vibe
Yeah.
and stylistic kind of overtones, and I think that's why it was easy to take your stuff. I already knew visually what it was going to be. It's like I know what this is going to be. Throw it in there, we got it done.
Well,
So I'm
Yeah.
glad you like it.
It's amazing. It was amazing. It's like, it's back. I've only just filmed it. It's like,
yeah. Well, I did an interview with Robin Guthrie some time ago.
ah,
Yeah.
yeah, nice.
It was so amazing.
How was he? How was he?
Oh, he's wonderful. Yeah, he was just we talked a little bit about the Cocteau Twins and of course his current projects and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm a
Mm.
big fan of 4AD. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I did one with Lisa too, Lisa Gerard on the phone.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Nice.
That was another good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
You know Rocket Girl Records, right?
Yeah. Benita.
Yeah, so
Is it
Benita put us
Benita?
on
Yeah.
a compilation with Robin, which was
Oh,
Nice.
a
Okay.
really good one. Yeah, it was a really good compilation. That was a huge moment in the Shoreline Dream history.
Nice. Yeah. I
so
haven't seen Benita for a long time. Yeah.
there's a video for this, right? Single, Everything Turns. So who's
Yeah,
the girl in the video?
this is a girl I
Yeah.
work with in town. She's
Okay.
a improv actor. She's really good. She just had a great look. She understood the vibe of the lyrics and what we were trying to do. So it was a pretty quick shoot, really, and I knew what we wanted to do with it, and yeah, there's another video coming up for the second single that we did, "Written in Dust,"
Okay.
that I
So
think
is
you'll
that gonna
dig
be
too.
is that gonna be released before the whole album gets released?
I believe so. They're working on it now, so
Written
and
in
that being Shauna. Yeah, so
big.
it's done. That's what he was just talking about. That's what Mark was just talking about. He sent me
Mm.
the shots just a couple days ago, and I just threw them in there, and we were done. So that video's ready.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. It's coming up July 19th, and I'll try to get
Oh
this
yeah.
before then as well, which is in a few weeks. But Mark, I know you also have an album out, right? A more current one called Interplay. That's the seven,
Correct. Yeah.
and
Mm.
you're touring. I was just looking at that. You're touring in parts of Asia. Is that right?
We are, yeah, we very, very much so. We are too much touring in a way, but
Oh,
we are definitely
they're
we're
amazing
doing a lot of
places.
touring. You've got the dates in front of you. I don't know. I mean, yeah, we're going to a lot of places. So we're off to Taiwan, Singapore. Oh, is it Singapore?
Mongolia,
Mongolia,
Ulaanbaatar.
Mongolia. Yeah, I've never been to Mongolia before, so I really don't know what's going to happen there. Japan,
Yeah,
China as
I
well. Yeah, there's a lot, and then obviously to Australia and New Zealand, which and we do some shows with Mercury Rev, who are opening for us, which is amazing because I've always loved Mercury
you
Rev
know
as well.
you should have stopped in Hawaii somewhere along the, but then you're going to.
You know what? I'd love to stop in Hawaii. I'd love to stop in Hawaii in like come there now and have a little break. Nowhere the sleep and nowhere the famous seascape. That's shot from a beach in Hawaii that we tried to find when we were in Hawaii. We did play once in Hawaii, which was I think it was a kind of stop point when we were on our way to Japan.
When was
I
that?
guess
Do
a
you
few
remember the
people do
year?
that. It would have been, I would say, 2016. I would think it was early on the reunion time, and it was my first time in Hawaii. And
You like it? How do you like
yeah, I
Hawaii?
loved yeah I loved Hawaii. It's great. Yeah, it's a beautiful um, marriage of kind of American and Japanese culture, Hawaiian obviously as well. Native. It's a lovely. I just thought it was a lovely melting pot of your natives plus the sort of American Japan thing. It was great. Yeah, I loved it. I really enjoyed it, and we did actually manage to have a few days there. I think, which is rare on any touring period. So I do remember feeling, oh, I've got some time here. I can actually be a little bit of a tourist rather than just go on a bus to a venue and go
Yeah,
wherever. It could be anywhere.
I always believe that when an artist comes here, they have to have a vacation here because this is like paradise, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I am taking a short break with my daughter to Sicily soon, which again, is something about islands, right, and vacations. So, yeah, I'm glad that I can do that before the next round of touring starts because I feel a little weary at the moment. I have to say.
well, congratulations on this collaboration. And, I'm looking
Thank
forward
you.
to the release, and of course to your tour. I don't, there's a way you could stop here. I don't know. I mean, I'm just looking at the dates.
I
I'm
think
not.
we'd need to. Yeah, I know. I mean, I don't think there is this time. It's like
Yeah,
it's like it's a very the schedule is what it is. But
yeah,
look, I mean, yeah, it's be nice to come back. I'm sure we'll come and do Hawaii again.
yeah,
Um, be rude not to, right?
yeah, yeah.
Here's the album, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Just wanted to show
and
you.
that's the first time, right? You're gonna have it in vinyl, right? A
This is the
Shoreline
first
Dream.
time that A
Yeah,
Shoreline Dream has done vinyl, so this is a big deal.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
if we're working with Mark, we're doing vinyl on this one.
And it's a white
And
album, right?
it's white, yeah, it's 180 gram. Um, Add Kramer, who's famous for being in, Butthole Surfers and working on
Oh,
Urge
right, yeah.
Overkill. He produced that song "Girl, You'll Be a Woman Soon" that was in Pulp Fiction. So he
Oh,
mastered it.
Oh,
wow, I love this song.
wow, wow.
I worked
Yeah,
with
mate,
him.
I
I
did.
worked with him
Amazing.
before. He's such a cool guy, and he just knows everything sonically. So went for it. So I hope everybody can get a copy of this on vinyl because it's definitely worth it. It sounds really good. I'm really proud of this album, and I think that this collaboration is just like life changing. I know it's kind of hard to put it all in perspective in words, but it was a very good experience, beyond good, impossible to explain.
No, absolutely, and that's the beauty of, that's the lovely part about what we do. I think, that's what I mean. That's the lovely part of this work and this job, when almost collaborations and these sort of things come out of nowhere, in a sense, and then suddenly you've got something beautiful happens. So that's the special part about what we do, for sure.
So, Mark, is there anything in the future for Ride? Any other upcoming?
Oh, well, I mean, so we're fully committed now to interplay and touring this, and I couldn't tell you, to be honest with you. I never look beyond the release that we're in at the moment, because you just can't anymore with the way the music business is. I mean, if we can kind of get enough momentum and enough to keep us going with this record and moving forward, and I think we will. But you just don't know. I mean, and I'm okay with that. I mean, there's a wisdom in uncertainty, and there certainly isn't any sort of certainties with music anymore. And Ride, it's not a career sort of. It's never been a career band, and it still isn't, because you just don't know. I mean, you just don't know. If we can keep, like I say, if we can keep the wheels turning with it, then we will. But we will have other work that we have to do as well. So it's not as easy in some ways as it was to be able to do it. And I won't get into one on about it now, but certainly if streaming, if external things could change a little bit to help artists, that would help a lot. I.e., a little income coming from streaming companies through to the actual artists that are making the music would help a lot. And not just bands like Ride. I mean, just everybody, every band that's got any sort of creative venture going on, and it would make a huge difference to make things sustainable, and to for people to develop. I think the way it is at the moment, it's kind of hard for your next potential Radiohead or Ride or whatever to become the great bands that those bands became, because it's hard. Everyone's having to spin a lot of different plates at the moment just to kind of keep the bills paid. So it's tricky. But it always is. That's the artist thing, and it's like, in some ways, it's artists having things in a tough way is always quite good for the art. I guess.
That's why I
It's
do.
true.
That's why I do video for a living. It's like, how can you do music for a living anymore? I don't really know, but I have to do it. We have to do it because we love doing it. It's our thing, and
Yeah, exactly that. And I mean, and I've kind of put myself in a place with the studio where largely I am doing music for a living. That's not just Ride though. Obviously, that's mixing, mastering, recording, soundtracks. And even some sort of podcast productions now. You have to do a lot of stuff to be able to, I couldn't do that if I was just in Ride now. And that might be surprising to quite a lot of people, but that is the reality. So yeah, it's that's kind of why I sold my house when I didn't. got a studio together, because
You got a beautiful.
yeah, and I like doing what I do, so I just want to be able to continue doing that. So it's yeah, simple as that.
and on different levels, we're so similar. That's what I think brought us together a lot too. Because that's the same as me. I'm multi whatever I need to do next. I just want to keep doing music as much as I can. I want to do whatever art is possible. I've always been a multimedia artist. It's just the way you got to be. You know, if you want to be an
Yeah.
artist anymore, you just got to be willing to try different things
Mhm.
and see what works.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, that does keep it interesting as well. And I'm very one directional mindset on that thing that I'm doing at that time. So I do find it hard to jump around between lots of different things. But that's called being a guy, isn't it, as well? That we're not very good at multitasking. So,
You know, I wanted to ask you one more. You know, the story of the eye.
oh yeah, yeah.
So I love that book by George Bataille. I don't know if that's connected to that.
It is a bit connected to it because at the time of writing, I was hanging with a very cool French lady called Maria, who was a friend of the group Rhinoceros that I was doing some collaborative work with quite a few years back. I loved being around those people, and yeah, it was a great little period that I wanted to capture. With that song, yeah, basically. But yeah, no, it's very much connected to the book, the title, and the lyric for sure.
See, I mean, this is something that people may want to know. I mean, right? I mean, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, they're going to know it. They're going to know it now. Well done. You're the first person that's picked up on it ever. So
Oh, I love that book.
Yeah, I love the book too. And it's taken a while, but great. The news is out there now.
Well, you know, a big shout out to Shauna from Shameless Promotion PR. Yeah, she's
Absolutely. Great work, Shauna.
Yeah, this has been quite the ride, and
Yeah.
it's
a good
been
ride.
amazing. Yeah, and Shauna really helped kick this all off, so this has been great.
And thank you for the time. I know we're all in different time zone. Thank you for the opportunity, Mark.
Oh,
Right.
yes.
This is Ryan's third
Thanks.
here. And I would love to have you both back another time, and keep me posted on your music, and good luck with the tour. And of course,
Thank you.
I'll put the link on both your page.
Sure.
Let me see. I think Ryan is a shorelinedream.com, right?
Yes. Yep.
Shorelinedream.com, and then the bandride.com.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, you can do that, or we'll make sure, Shauna, you get my email as well, or yeah, I mean, I'll yeah, for sure, I'll make sure I've got the link, and we'll what do we do? We retweet links and stuff, don't we now? Yeah,
Just listen to our
that's
album.
what we do.
You can listen to the struggles of modern society.
Yeah, so Whitelined, it will be out on July 19. So stay tuned.
Yeah, and get it pre-ordered on vinyl today at
white vinyl.
shorelinedream.com. Yes, on white vinyl.
Okay. Thank you very much, you guys. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure talking with you both.
It's been amazing.
Good.
Thank you
Yep,
so
you
much.
too.
Good to speak to you both. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye bye.
You guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. Hey Ryan, we've got one later, haven't we? So you're gonna get.
Okay.
That's why I don't know if we're